Hi, this is Phil Nelson. I'm going to demonstrate using a sensitivity analysis add-in I have to do a broad look at the financial statement and see if we're making a profit within the set of variables I'm going to use. I'm going to use the sales, the salaries, and the material cost. And we can add in any number. I have set up for, I think, 10 here. I'm only using, for the purposes of my demonstration here, this one, and this one. In the meantime, with this spreadsheet, I hard code the balance sheet accounts from the balanced balance sheet, and then I prepare the balance sheet for the statistical analysis, which means I'm zeroing out certain accounts and then letting the information flow through for the sensitivity study. Our output that we'll be checking will just be the earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation. In any case, let's go to work. We'll go to the add-ins. This is the add-in, and if you want to buy it, it's about 90 bucks from add-ins.com. First thing I'm going to do is do a risk analysis premise sheet. And we're going to tell it what sheet we're using, which is the one that's currently open but had been saved. And then we're going to use that as our description, except I'm going to take the period off. And then for our output, we're going to look at EBITDA. For our input, we're looking at salaries, sensitivity on material, and sensitivity on sales. And now it's creating the initial probability table for us to begin the process. Okay, we've created the table. Now we have to go in and define what we want these to do, and what I did is I kept on my Snagit capture thing the information we had in those windows. And so we're going to take salaries and wages. I'm just going to do a normal distribution, and salaries and wages is from 0.95 to 1.15. And we can OK it. We could go in and change distribution if we wanted to. We could pick another. Okay, when I did the normal distribution, you can see that we don't have our tail off for the 10% or less. I'm going to make this 0.9, and it will create a better looking chart for us. Okay, we'll do the insensitivity material cost range. And I'm doing from 38,000 to 41,000. That looks pretty good. Now we'll go to sales. This is sales with a 48 to 50, standard deviation 500. And we're done with that. So we've defined it. Now we'll create our input probability distribution reports. Going to select all the input and say OK, and away it goes. So this has given us our distribution, and I said normal distribution for everything, so this is what it looks like. Since my study value is pretty much on the mean, it's not too surprising. Okay, now we're going to create the output sensitivity reports and tornado fishbone charts. I'll put you on hold while it runs that, and we're going to base it on the output, the PVC, and going to select all the input, and we're going to print it in the order which the report is set. And it's running. You can see by my blinking arrow there. Okay, it's completed. I can go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and we'll show that sensitivity report here. There's only one, so if we had picked several outputs to do analysis on, there could be several sheets. But I just picked EBITDA because it's as good as anything. It looks like there is some effect. The salaries don't have much effect, whereas the material cost and sales do, just the way I designed the sheet. So the salaries and wages contribute to about 1% of the variance, whereas the change in sensitivity relating to sales and cost of sales makes up the majority. First, we'll run the simulations. I'm going to do 200 of them, and we're going to do it on PV, and I'll take our variables and randomly seed this thing, and away it will go. And you can see down here it's taking a little bit of time. It's a huge spreadsheet with tens of thousands of calculations. So simple sales calculation can affect almost every aspect of the sheet, except even fixed assets it could affect if it changes the head count. So I'm going to let this run. See you down the road. Okay, we've completed the 200 scenario. And here it comes. We did come up with 200 values for the EBITDA. The minimum is 8.8 million. That's discounted over 5 years. Maximum 15 million with an expected of 12 million. So that's not too bad. Cumulative number here, so 100% of our distribution falls below 15 million, yeah, or above 10 million. So unless there's a rapid mistake in our scenario, we should be in pretty good shape. The average value on the EBITDA for the 200 reports has not, since the 125 were run, has not changed any more than a decrease of 0.2%. So I really don't think we need to get excited and do a whole bunch more. But on some plans, especially engineering plans, you could have 10 or 15 inputs and 2 or 3 outputs, and then you might eliminate some of the inputs once you've run this report and rerun it. But it can give you a certain amount of confidence that you're in the ballpark. So that's how this thing works. And just starts with the risk premises, does your distribution report to taking a look at how things are going. And then you've got all these other reports that outputs. And then if you have a whole bunch of, there's your fishbone for the sensitivity on the ones that we did pick. You can see that salaries and wages has very little effect. Here's the 200 scenarios. Okay, so we can go back to the main spreadsheet. And let's see, let's get it in balance here. Now with what we have, we'll do the transfer the scenario here. We've got about 12 million in EBITDA, so we're pretty close to the above and below number that was given to us on the sensitivity report. You can see that our study value came out at 12,115, but our expected value is 12,183 net present value, so of the earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation. This isn't the only number you want to see, but it gives you an idea of where you are there, and then you can develop, once you get your balance sheet in balance, develop a complete IRR and all the other good things that you want to have for ratios, which I covered in videos 1 and 2.